Alrighty, welcome everyone. Hang on one second. This is my wife's favorite drink right here. Let me get rid of this and we will begin. Load my list. Here we go. Alrighty. So I hope everyone had a wonderful week. I don't know if I mentioned to you guys last week that my sister's husband was in the hospital and he passed away yesterday. So I am going to, after I get done here, she sent me numerous pictures of him and my sister, during their husband and wife years. It's been about 4 years only. They've been married, maybe longer. I'm not quite sure. I didn't get a chance to go to the wedding due to other, family things, medical issues. But anyway, I will be doing a slideshow for them. They're going to just basically have a cremation, and he was an avid fisherman, so they're going to scatter the ashes on his favorite creek in Florida. So wherever that is. Um, so anyway, yeah, very sad to hear. I am not going to be able to go again. I cannot leave my wife alone. She loses her balance, and she has fallen already a couple of times. So I'm going to do this job for her, and I'm going to send it to her. It'll be similar format, a little bit more demure or quiet, not as flashy as the ones that I normally do, but it'll be a very nice one. And I'll put a couple of songs that she requested I put on there. So yeah. Anyway, other than that, yeah, I'm waiting. This is really weird. This is I guess it's this thing that when you know someone that passes away, at least in my family, they say, oh, it's going to be three of them. The man across the street from me passed away a week and a half ago. And now my sister's husband. And now we're waiting on my Marine Corps friend. I call him the brother from another mother. He is about to possibly lose his wife as well. And we have known each other for 30 years here. And I hope if it has to happen, it goes, peacefully. I think my brother-in-law Wayne passed away peacefully. He was in hospice at the time, and they gave him like maybe 2 days, 3 days at the most, and I think he lasted 2 days. Anyway, he was a very successful guy in Orlando area. He had a company that provided all of the hotels, resorts, practically all of them, including Disney World, with something simple but a requirement: ice machines. Yeah. So contract them, and then either that or sell them and then service them. Yeah. He was doing very, very well. And I hope that, my sister is able to live the rest of her years on that. I hope. So, anyway, I didn't want to bring this up, but I always like to share family things with you guys. You guys are my external family. So let's say howdy to everybody here. We have Henry Stoffel here, Medford, Massachusetts. When did he come in this morning? Let's see what my friend had nothing better to do at 1:27 a.m. this morning. I tell my wife that, and then she just goes like, your fans are crazy. I said, well, at least it's a good crazy. Warm Medford, Massachusetts, Epson P800 OEM inks, print prism update. Yes, sir. We're going to be talking about that and demonstrating it. What a heck of an update Mike Cheney did on this. Unbelievable. We'll cover every bit of it a little bit later on. So he also has Lifetime Q Image Ultimate. Richard Bender suggested this. So Hagerstown, Maryland. We'll get into this in a second. He will bring it up. Not up printing this morning, but making bread and making ice cream instead. Yum. Hang on. When did you come on? 1:35, just a few minutes later. Do you guys ever sleep? I need my sleep. Uh, so EcoTank 8550, Nikon D300 for HDR photography and many papers. I see that Mike C incorporated my suggestion in Prism software. He had previously said that it would be very difficult, if not impossible, because of the twain. Twain is a term, how you communicate with a driver, with a scanner, I'm sorry. And he said it would be very difficult. Now you only click on scan. You have to choose 1, 2, or 3 scans and just click scan, and it will go ahead and perform the triple scan one after the other, without you having to do it over and over and over again. Remember last week I was having an issue. It was wanting to rescan. I was using the space bar to move my image. I'm not going to do that anymore. That apparently triggered that. He said it was the enter key, but no, I was using um, the space bar. So um, the last night I was practicing with it, and again it happened again, and I realized I was doing that on my keyboard. So from now on, I am not going to do that anymore. I'm going to use the arrows on the actual screen. Nigel Waters is here at 7, more respectable time, folks. 7:04 this morning from Wales, UK. Canon Pro 300 with all the trimmings. Feslope is here. Good morning. 18 degrees Detroit area. Wow, jeepers. Um, yeah, it's 48 right now. We're gonna have a little bit of snow. I think Monday evening around there and early Tuesday morning. But the ground is so warm, nothing's gonna stick. I don't think. I may have to, run my car's heat for a few minutes and it'll be gone. Anyway, 18-degree Detroit area, Nikon D300, Epson 8550 print prism, and 116. Get the 120 now. It's out there. Download it and install it, please. You'll love it. Red River Papers, all OEM, obvious. Red River has free shipping, $75 order. Use Jose's code to order. I did. Yes, please do so. I haven't received. I received a little bit, a bit of a check the several months ago, and I haven't seen anything so far. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of percentage they're actually providing the channel for every sale that you guys use my link with. But I'm not worried about it. I just let it accrue, and whatever it is, they'll send it to me whenever they want to. So, but I do appreciate that. Ron K, Trenton, New Jersey, Epson EcoTank 8550, QMH Ultimate, Lifetime, and Canon R5 Mark II, and a 7D Mark I. HC from the Netherlands, spring-like weather here. Birds, flowers, fresh green buds. Wow. That's going to be next week here. It's going to be in the 70s, mid-70s, I think, all week long. Still using my winter coat, though. Yeah, me too. EcoTank 8550. Mike C has been usefully busy again. I think this is groundbreaking what he did toward print prism. I love it. I'll be honest with you. I'm always open. He sent me an affiliate amount of money through PayPal because he has not yet been able to create an affiliate link for Print Prism. It's a separate little website that he has. So I appreciate that. Definitely put it toward buying supplies as needed. I think I am at 925 subscribers. I need 75 more. So if you haven't done that yet, please do so. We need to reach 1,000, and then I will be qualified completely for monetization. And they have to do that once you get qualified. Unless I am the world's biggest worst person in the world, cheater and hacker and whatever, they have to monetize me if I apply at that point. So villain, yeah. By the way, I felt like caca last week. Much better today. I think it's one of those just annoying type cold type or flu type illnesses, and it hit my daughter really bad. For me, it was just feeling blah constantly, runny nose, coughing in the morning, that kind of thing. All right. Let me not get too far ahead of myself. NPM Photo, Nick Marmolejo from Deer Valley, Arizona. Epson Stylus Pro, 3800, Piezography Pro Ink. I got my P800 running. I will get into that. It was very interesting. I don't know whether I even discussed that last week or not, but if I did, I'll probably do it again today because I don't remember. Epson XP 15000 chipless PCSE inks, Ultimate QMH Ultimate Lifetime, OM1 Photo Raw Max, Sony Alpha 6000. So I noticed that, let me see. Let me find this a second here. Let me delete this so I don't repeat it again at the end. I have OM1. They gave me a copy, I mean, fully paid for of OM1. The company did, wanting me to use it. I mean, if I liked it, to talk about it. I haven't done that yet. I need to watch a few videos and learn what the types of filters and plugins or whatever. I know it's about editing, and supposedly it has a very good AI, um, like raise your resolution. Even I saw a video where somebody loaded a shot of an eagle, a bald eagle, on a tree, but the image is this big and the bald eagle is this little. And they kept cropping it and cropping, getting closer and closer, and it looked terrible. And they applied this to maximum quality, and it was amazing what it did. So I need to try to do that. I'm going to attempt to do that and see what happens. So he's got a 3800, like I said, chipless, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I did that already. OM1 and Sony Alpha 6000. Steve XL from London, UK, P800, refillable cartridges. Lucky guy, we're going to talk about that. And OEM inks, I1 Studio spectrophotometer, and a Q image, and Photoshop, and Nikon Z7 II, and an Epson V500, just like mine right here. Photo Nikon says, greetings from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Canon Pro 1000 Epson Ecotech 8550, XP 15000 OEM inks and papers plus Red River Q Image Ultimate Print Prism 120, great. Nikon D750 and a Sony A6500. Glad to see Harold Davies here with us. He's got his computer running. Awesome to see you here. Across Wisconsin. Do you have, Harold, do you have Print Prism yet? Really, I so much recommend it. Not because I, like Mike Cheney. It's because it's awesome. He's from La Crosse, Wisconsin. Canon Pro 1100, Ecotech 8550, PCSE, QImage. Those are inks, QImage, and Print Prism. Yeah, you do have it. Sorry about that. I need to read further ahead before I start blabbing. So I hope you've updated it, and it's just made simpler to use. That's all. Trying to shoot some eagles fishing in the river with a new 840 millimeter lens. Wow. Pete Grobel is here, Plainville, Connecticut. Canon ProGraph 1100, Canson resin coated satin touch. Ta-da! I thank you once again for that. He prints every day. When the 1100 is simply the smartest adjustable and quality 17-inch printer you can buy. I am going to agree fully with that assessment. I am. Captain Donzi is here, Richmond, Virginia. It's sunny. It's very. Let me see. Yeah, we have blue skies here as well. Pro 100 with all the trimmings. Sony A77 and an A65. Fred Bird is here, Ellington, Connecticut, working in commercial, legal, aerial photograph, copy, and repair. Photography, copy, and repair. I wish I could say that in upstate New York, we still have a foot of snow on the ground. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. He also says, Jose, thank you for your reply to my P900, P700 question on inks. No problem. I was able to take a chip off my starter ink and use it on another starter ink. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, it's tricky. I remember, I don't know which printer model it was, but somehow the starter chips, because what is a starter cartridge? It's usually one that has a much lower amount of ink. It's just for you to set it up. This is what they give you. And I think the P700, P900 work that way. The P800, for some reason, I got a full set of cartridges with my so-called starter set. And what happens is the printer records these ID codes. Each chip, there's millions of ID codes that are generated by a key generator, and they are permanently written into the chip's memory. That is then read by the printer and recorded and saved forever and ever in your printer's memory. So you cannot put another starter cartridge because that ID code identifies it as what? A starter cartridge. You're supposed to then use a full OEM, full volume cartridge, not another starter cartridge. It's crazy. And I think in his case, he had to return it and they told him to keep, yeah. So you see, it's just unfair. It's really unfair. I'm glad you were able to take care of that, though. Kevin Bruniarski from Ellsworth, Wisconsin, Canon Pro 300, Epson EcoTank 8550, and an Epson XP 15000. Those are two amazing combinations right there. Oh, thank you, Kevin, and please don't forget to hit the like button. I should have as many like buttons as I have viewers right now. We have 30. I need 30 likes, please. Please click on that like button, the little thumbs up thingy. If you're watching on a computer, I think you might be able to do that later, but on a phone, I believe you can do that immediately. So please do that. The algorithm. There's no more real people anymore in YouTube. They work behind the scenes. You never see them or speak with them. Everything is done by algorithms and AI. So don't forget to do that, please. Don't forget, after you decide what kinds of paper you like, send me that item and I will purchase a full. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I'm still working on it. Like I said, I was a little bit disappointed with because I want to do it. Maybe I'll do it on the Pro 1000. I'll just print everything on the Pro 1000 using their profiles because the ones for the 8550 really were not that great. And then when I made one, it was much better. So um, we'll see. I'm going to be looking at the look, the characteristics of the printed image, and see which paper I would like to then experiment with further, and that way I could make profiles for various of my printers. Okay, so I think we are done with all of our visitors here. We got 26. If you haven't said anything here in the chat, please join us. Tell us who you are, where you're watching from. What do you have? What are you interested in? What have you tried and worked perfectly? What have you tried and did not work so perfectly? Share that with us. That's what we're here for. We're here to chat among each other. I wish I could have a multitude of windows with you guys looking at me and me looking at you guys and be able to just talk. But again, I don't have enough Wi-Fi to handle something like that. So let's begin from my first topic, the P800. So the other day, my grandson asked me, his friend took a picture of his kitty cat, and he was standing so perfect. It looked like a little statue. And a little blonde yellow cat reminds me of one of my old cats. He's buried in the backyard right now. Um, and asked me if I could print that. So I said, well, I'll make you like, he wanted it for his locker at school, the back of his locker. So I thought, okay, 11 by 17 might be a good size. So I printed that and I used the 8550 easily on that with some of my, what paper did I use? Some paper that I have from Epson, 11 by 17. So now he tells me that because I talked to him about my P800. He's going to be 14 in a month and a half. I talked to him about my P800 and how I can use a roll. So I have pretty much not indefinite length, not 500 inches, no, but relatively long. So he says, "Can you make something 5 feet long?" I said, "Sure, I can." So he sends me this text asking me to print a cat 5 feet long, and unfortunately, no, the proportions it won't fit. It won't fit. So I can do 17 by 30. That's the maximum. That will pretty much match almost the 2 to 3 ratio that the original image had. So I'll do that for him. But then I thought, oh my God, wait a minute. When did I last run my P800? Well, it was last year around May. I've been running just little bits and pieces here, but nothing really extensive. So I thought, is it really going to print? Okay, do I need to do a nozzle check? Well, to do a nozzle check, I have to remove the roll, load some regular, 8.5 by 11 paper, and print the nozzle check. I didn't want to remove the roll because it's a pain in the butt to install it again. So I have to take it out and then make a perfectly right angle, straight edge cut, and I would have to bring it out and load it on my, trimmer. No, no, no. So I decided not to do that. I just blindly ran a deep clean. And then I thought, wait a minute. So I'm running an internally installed decoder board. This was something that came out years ago. And what it was, it's basically like a mini motherboard that has literally embedded into the board itself 9 chips. Each one of those 9 chips has 30 individual ID codes for yellow, for vivid magenta, light vivid magenta, and so on, all the way down. So as you install it, you have to open up the back. You have to remove the cable that is attached to the chip reader in your ink delivery system panel. Remove that and then plug that one in. And I think there's another cable you have to remove and plug it then to the board. You're bypassing it. You're going from the either instead of the board to the chip reader, you're going from the board, the main board internally to your external board, and it mounts in the back of the printer. That board, once it is installed, and I had to go through 3 of them. InkOwl was very generous and sent me 1 did not work, 2 did not work, and 3 finally worked. And so once you get it working, you plug it into power, and all you got to do now is press that button on it, and it loads 9 codes onto its own chips. So now the chip is reporting to the printer that all your cartridges are full. Yeah, I don't even think you need chips anymore on your cartridges. But anyway, at that point, all cartridges are full. Your refillable cartridges better be full. But for you guys in the UK that can run refillable cartridges on your P800, you know very well that those chips, at least it's my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that they would be using chips that are calibrated for the same volume of ink an OEM cartridge holds. Now, the P800, I don't have a P800 cartridge here, but let's go back to the 3880, for example. So this cartridge is calibrated, and they tell you when you buy one, you're getting 80 ml of ink. But no, you're really getting 90. And there's an internal bag that holds all that ink. And you have to have an amount of ink left when the chip is declared empty, because you're applying pressure all the time as you are printing. External pressure internally, that is pressing against that bag, and that's what creates that positive pressure that delivers ink to the printer. So If that bag collapses completely, it's choking. So you have to have ink left behind once the chip is empty. And usually it's about 10 ml that you throw away every single time you exchange one of those cartridges. I think the P900 is different. They hold less ink. And I don't know whether, I think they do still use a bag. But printers like that, like the P800 say in England, so you're running your refillable cartridge. This has a bunch of internal walls. It's like a labyrinth, and those walls take up space. There's nothing inside this cartridge except a bag. So that bag is the thinness of that bag's thickness of that material, mylar, I believe, is minimal. So you can indeed pack 90 mLs. Even though this is the same size, you can only get about 70 ml in here. So you have 70 ml of ink, but the chip thinks you have 80. You see where the problem might arise? So you have to pretty much every couple of months open up your lid, look at the actual amounts, physical amounts of ink, and continually top off these cartridges. When you close the lid, it's not going to run a nozzle cleaning or a purge cleaning. It's not going to do that. It doesn't care. It has ink lines. They are full of ink, and so are your dampers inside your printer. So the printhead never got exposed to air during this refilling process. Unlike something like this, when you set it for a cartridge exchange, that printhead now is floating over air and air gets in. So you have to run, it has to run a purge cycle afterwards to expel any possible air that got sucked into the printhead. Okay, it happens, especially after you remove a cartridge. There's nothing in there preventing that ink from flowing out and air from the upper part of the printhead from getting in. So it has to recharge itself. So see those, let me see. I need to turn this on here. By the way, here's the Pro 100 printhead, the one that's bad. Here's is a 9500 Mark II. So those little ports right there, air will get in through there and it will then possibly drain that whole channel. It's just an ml of ink or so. I made myself nice and warm. But anyway, so it will not do that. So you can top off your cartridges every couple of months without any worries. And I said, okay, maybe, yeah, I look like I have ink left a little bit. Some of them are getting pretty low, but how are they really? Well, I opened up the lid and a couple of them were really almost empty. And you cannot allow your so-called priming to go away. Let me see if I can show you. See this little circular chamber right here? That's the priming chamber. And if you do let it go like I did, and I topped off that cartridge, there was no ink in there. So that means if I put it back in and try to print, no ink is going to flow. I'm going to use up whatever ink is left in my ink line and on my damper. So what I had to do is remove this plug. There's a plug right here. Take a simple tip syringe. This is dirty. I need to wash it. Stuck it in there while it's closed, of course. Stuck it in that hole and then sucked back. Air came out and then finally ink came out. And then I took that same ink and put it back in. That primes that chamber. Now it is ready to be installed. If I let it go empty accidentally, I have to do that, and I did. So I did all my 9 cartridges, including, of course, matte black. And I thought, what the heck? Why don't I just reset? So I pressed the button and came back here, and I was going to run a print. And all my cartridges were blank. No chip. And I panicked. I thought, oh my God, what happened? So I reset it. Let me do it again. And again, all of them were blank. So I looked at my printer screen and they're all blank. And I'm going, oh gosh. Okay, I could revert everything back and then buy inkchip.net's chipless firmware for the P800. It does exist, and go with that. But let me just reboot the printer. So I rebooted the printer. Boom, all cartridges are full. I forgot you have to reboot this printer. It had been like 3 years, at least 3 years since I had to do anything with that. That's how little I've been printing on it. And the in Spanish is maravilla, means something miraculous. I never had a clog with that printer, even ignoring it like I had been, because I had nothing to print on that roll that I had installed. I did it for the school. I made a poster that was 5 feet long for the school play. But other than that, I never really needed to print anything on it. But now I want to, because I decided to make a print prism profile for that particular paper. And I think I only have like 10 feet of it left. So, and I have another roll that I'm going to install after that. But yeah, so long story short, sometimes you forget things that you used to do without thinking 5 years ago. And yeah, I had not ever had to reset that. Now, how that worked was originally I had 30 resets. I reset it once or twice already. And I think I did it twice again. So I have 25 more resets. I think the printer will definitely die long before I have to reset that 25 more times. The only negative thing about these types of boards, and they didn't last very long, I'll have to admit. Precision Colors tried selling them, but that didn't really go well. Um, is that they reset all the chips at once. So it's not like a single chip you're resetting, one that goes empty. Of course, you've topped off the cartridge, so it never really physically went empty. You cannot just reset one chip. You have to do all 9 of them. Kind of wasteful, especially if the 7th one is 90% full. You just reset only because the other one was almost empty, some other color. So it's kind of wasteful, but at least it works. And this is that curly paper. This is Red River, I think, Polar Luster. So I'm going to create a profile for this, and then we'll do a standard image and see how it comes out. I have to be honest with you. The inks that I'm running is just an amalgamation of other Epson inks, Trichrome K3. There are some OEM. I also have Precision Colors PC HD, the high definition inks for it in there. So it's just, a mixture of inks. I really didn't want to get serious with it because I was using whatever I had available. So we'll see. And some of the ink I got from larger cartridges that I found on eBay. Just anything to keep printing costs low. And I wasn't really that, into getting a perfect match for my monitor. I was doing just jobs for our local church and our local school, my wife's school. And of course, for Nathan, putting posters up on his wall in his man cave downstairs in the basement, that sort of thing. So accuracy wasn't really imperative. So I just printed with whatever I had. Now, with the other printers, yeah, I'm very careful with what I put in those printers. The merit cards that I use on my P800 do not monitor the content. Oh, really? So I regularly top off all cards. So that is interesting. When the Epson monitor says a card is low, taking it out and putting it back in resets the chips to full. Okay, so it's auto reset. Yeah. Well, at least you can use them. That would be awesome. I would love to have that availability here. The only way that you could get away with that would be if somehow I know there are these service tools that you download from not the dark web, but other places, under the table type places online, um, that allow you to install for instance, a British or a European um, version of the print of the firmware on your P800 that renders it as being a European P800, and then at that point you can definitely run those. But it's difficult to do, and I tried it one time, and I thought, no, I'll kill the printer, and I don't want to deal with it. So the only other option is the chipless firmware, which is available. They try to do it for the P900, but I don't know what Epson did. They really protected themselves very, very well against this type of you know chipless firmware. So if I was Epson, I would pat myself in the back. But really, preventing you, the user, after you pay $800 to $1,300 for a printer, to only use their product, come on, that's a little beyond. I think I should be able to use whatever gasoline or petrol I want to put in my Chrysler, right? I don't have to use Chrysler gasoline or petrol. But that's not the way printers work here in the US. So you just have to live with that. Okie doke. So that is done, and I am very happy. After we do this profiling, I'm going to create a little collage of photos, small ones, and I'm going to print a 13 by maybe, I don't know, 10 or something. I'll just create a special custom size, and we'll do a collage, including a standard image, and we'll see what we get. Okay, so speaking of, profiling and expecting, what is perfection coming out of your printer? To me, is neutrality. By neutrality, I don't mean that everything is black and white. I mean that whatever this shows me, and I'm very busy editing and adjusting, and this and that and that for half an hour, I want it to represent what I see on paper. So that means that if I load a black and white, I want it to print neutral. And I want every tonality from black all the way to white to print neutral. If it can do that, then I can just sit back and pretty much trust that when I print a color image, okay, it's also going to represent it neutral, meaning it's not going to change the look, the appearance of any of the colors. If I'm just printing, I don't know, a cyan bar, a magenta bar, and a yellow bar, and then a red, a blue, and green, and a black one, and maybe a couple of grays, and I look at it, I want it to look the way the original was. I don't want to deviate one way or another. In other words, be unneutral. Is there a word? I don't know. But you know what I mean. I don't want it to be shifted one way or another, especially those gray bars. They better look gray. And of course, depending on what light you're using to illuminate these prints, they're going to affect the way that image looks like. So there are standards. At the Pentagon, when I was working there, in the Army Audiovisual Center. Ooh. So I was a color technician, and I was working with them. I had individuals. These guys, their job was to analyze every C print we made, especially if they had a president or some famous general or whatever. They had to be perfect. It could not be off. So they would tell you, and they would use a viewing booth that was illuminated with incandescent bulbs, but they were correct temperature. And so everything they looked in as a control. Now, the issue always was when those prints leave and they go to an office with fluorescent lights, which are kind of greenish, especially government lights. Yeah, it might look a little different, but your eyes will lie to you. Your brain will too. So hopefully, But anyway, a high level of control. So we didn't use computers, but now we do. And I want this. If I was to load an image and hold it, okay, assuming my camera is, photographing that image correctly and its little sensor is accurate, I should then print it and I should then be able to look at it and it will match. When I load an image that I edited, in whether it is Photoshop, Lightroom, or whatever, I want it to print the same way. It's not going to be the same way, but you know what I mean. This is transmitted light. Reflective light is what we use for viewing prints. But I want it to be, I don't want something that's gray, neutral gray, to look pinkish. I want it to look neutral gray. And I want to have, when I show you my standard images, I always look and I backlight it and I check to see if I can see black, and then 2, 4, 6, and all the way to 254, 255, and so on. I want to be able to see every one of those little, and sometimes I'm able to achieve that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes a profile will block a little bit of the shadows, but they're insignificant. Once they reach that level down there, way in the dark side, insignificant. Highlights, however, I don't want to have a highlight that is as bright as the paper border. Paper border did not receive any ink, so I don't want any highlights to be free or blank of ink. I want a tiny little bit of ink, so I usually make an adjustment to bring that highlight, the brightest highlight, down a little bit. QImage does that. They do that for the shadows and for the highlights automatically. One click and it does it. So once you print that, then you will get pretty much the maximum dynamic range that particular image may have had. And assuming your monitor is calibrated, your profile is good, and made for that printer, for that paper you're using, it should give you a really excellent neutral looking result. Okay, especially comes into play with people's faces, so you don't want to look like you have a sunburn or to look like you came from Mars. No offense to Martians, but we've always depicted you as greenish, so I don't want you to look greenish. I don't want you to look yellowish or purplish or pinkish. I want you to look like normal skin, even with this dark spot right here. I want that dark spot to show. Okay, so the only way to achieve that is good color management, calibrated monitor, excellent profile, and for $35 you can create excellent profiles with a multitude of different all-in-one printers with scanners. Now it's not just for just a couple of scanners. Mike did the impossible, and he now, I think, just about any Epson family of all-in-ones printers that have built-in scanners, in other words, and all of those newer printers, they have LED light sources now, which are a lot more reliable than my V500's incandescent light source. That's what does the reading or the scanning of your print that you put down, or whatever you put down, whatever you scan. Okay, enough of that. What did I do? There it is. Sometimes I lose my cursor. All right, let's look at Print Prism. Let's look at that now. I'm going to open it up. And I might as well just load that print I made with the Red River Polar Luster. And we'll go ahead and create a profile. Okay, so let's quickly just take a quick look. That was redundant. You know what I mean. Okay, so now everything pretty much is like You don't have to really think too much. Let me load what Mike said on his email to me. Let me pop that over there, and we will enlarge this. Let me get everything set up here so we can proceed. So Print Prism version 2026.120. It's available for download. Thank you for supporting Print Prism. A new update is available, blah, 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 blah. Now, one-click scanning, even for multipass stacking. Remember, I had to do scan after scan after scan manually. A new update is available. Okay, Print Prism manages all scanner settings. No scan settings to change or verify. I don't have to check every single time because I don't trust anybody or anything. Yeah, I used to check every single time. No longer have to do that. Unprecedented printer profile accuracy. What did he do? That's, I don't know. Can use already printed target? Yeah, that is the dot 41, but don't use old scans. You must rescan targets with new version. And then the video link is down at the bottom here. So let's just, I'm not going to go over it. I'm going to go ahead and scan this. And I want to load it. This is so curly. My phone just buzzed. Let me see what it is. It's just an email. My sister would be texting me, not emailing me. Okay. Yeah, it says that I am now live. Good. It's telling me that I am live and that my wife is getting something from Amazon. Good. All right. I'm going to load this. I'm going to try to get it straight. I don't want to counter curl it or anything because I might damage the surface. And that is not our goal here. Okay, I don't know how straight I got that in, but we'll just have to cross our fingers. Okay, so let's take a quick look. So you can open an existing scan or select scanner. This is the 8550. We can preview. I'm going to preview just to see if I loaded it straight. I'm going to worry about that later. Okay, so we're going to just preview. And it says here to click the preview button before scanning to confirm target is placed in the center of the scanner glass. Target is straight, not rotated, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So here we go. Now you can tell it not to show you this in the future, but why not? I wanted to show me that. So it is scanning now. And there it is. It's fairly straight. That's pretty good. I actually did a good job. Okay, so now notice there's nothing other than just this. So we can just close it and scan. Now here, you see this little box right here? 1 pass, 2 passes, 3 passes. Of course, we want 3 passes. So we'll leave it at 3. And 8550. And we want it to be named, I think it's Red River P800, Red River Polar Luster. Of course, I could have done that in the scan save, but might as well just do it there. And okay, and then we're going to go ahead and scan. I didn't have to do that. I'm getting ahead of myself. I know Mike was going to yell at me. Scan now. And we just kick back and let it do its thing. Here you go. Here's the scanning. Scanning 1. 1 of 1. And now it's going to do the second pass. And I got to drag this over there so you can see it. You can see it actually taking place. Notice 3, and it's doing the second pass now. And then it's going to do the third pass. And there it is. On my other screen, you can see that, but it's just simultaneously one after the others. So one question I have for Mike is, why would you give me the option of 1, 2, or 3 passes? Why wouldn't I want a triple pass? Why would I choose to do a second, only a 2 pass or a single pass? I think you can probably get rid of that and just make it automatically do 3 passes straight, since that provides, I believe, the most accurate result. Okay, here's where I think all you have to do here is just type that in, and boom, 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 and you're done. And it says copy, scan name to the profile, description. So now you just click yes, boom, it copied it. Look at that. Did it automatically. And I'm just going to drag this over. We're going to detect the corners. Usually, if it cannot find the corners, it would already have done it. Tell me, hey, there's an error. So I see that things are a little bit, let me see on this side. As long as the the little selection squares are inside the perimeters, it'll be fine. You don't have to worry about like repositioning. This one here is a tiny bit off. I could go ahead and adjust it and bring it in a little bit. If you really want to be picky, it's going to reanalyze that, and it's going to re-detect everything. Yeah, this is fine. Let me make sure that everything is inside within the margins of each one of those squares. Notice all my black to white also inside, and all the way across to the other side. Good to go. All right, that's good. So we're ready to create the profile. We'll just go ahead and do that. Have a little bit of a drink. It's amazing how simple this has become. Safe Electric 1412. I have never seen you here before, so welcome if you're new. Glad you were able to come on board. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. We're trying to reach that goal of 1,000 subscribers. I used to have 79,000 subscribers before the channel got hacked by some wonderful people. Yeah, terrible. I have a Canon Pro 1000 using the OEM inks you suggested with the ink monitoring system from Precision Colors. I would like to know your opinion of the Canon Pro 1100 before making any purchases. Well, it clearly is better. It's a better printer. Canon doesn't mess around. Canon, when they do update, they update for a reason. The inks are better in certain ways. They're better. I was being a little critical in the beginning as to what were the actual improvements of image production or printing. In other words, if you were to print the same image on a Pro 1000 OEM inks, correct profile, same paper as the 1100 with their profile, their inks, would you see a difference? It would have to be, to me, it would have to be that the Pro 1000 print lacked a little bit of what my monitor was able to display, and that the 1100 printed it much closer to what the monitor's rendition would be, not enhancing it beyond what the monitor. In other words, a lot of people fall for the idea of let me go to me a second. Well, just that's already done. Creating the profile. A lot of people fall for this. I show them the Pro 1000 and then the 1100, and the 1100 is a little bit more saturated, a little bit more pop, more contrast. They'll pick that one, but that one doesn't match my monitor. My monitor matches more like the 1000. Had I wanted it to be more saturated, more contrasty, I would have easily have adjusted those sliders. I don't want my printer to enhance what I already have on my monitor. So that's where, when all of these people were doing these, these tests and these comparisons, that's what they were showing. And to me, that is wrong. Completely wrong. The goal is to match this, not to enhance this. If my Pro 1000 matches this and the 1100 enhances it so that it impresses more people that may not really know what to look for, that's wrong. You're just cheating. And I could easily do that on the Pro 1000. Just add more saturation, more contrast. Big deal. You see what I mean? So, but in reality, it is a better printer. As to how much better it is, would it inspire me to buy one? No, not really. Again, if it's your only printer that you're going to be purchasing, yes, of course, absolutely get it. But if you already own a Pro 1000 and you're using OEM inks, it really doesn't matter. The differences are minimal visually. Now it has ink that has a scratch or abrasion resistant compound in it. But to be honest and absolutely truthful with you, I have never really scratched a print that I have made with a Pro 1000. Unless I take a block of sandpaper and do this to it. Then I'll scratch it. But through normal handling, and I stack my prints up. There, I have stacks. Let me back up. This high under my table. I'm going to do a free giveaway. I'm going to go to some public place and I'm going to give a lot of prints away. I need to clean my room. I have too much stuff. And, but yeah, so I have never scratched a print, nor have I seen like abrasion, like an area where it looks like somebody went this with sandpaper. No. So yeah, it's a great idea to have anti-abrasion component in your inks and, deeper Dmax. How deep do you really want your black to be? When I print something and I edit it, I do not have a black. I have 5.5 above black and 0.5 below plain paper. So I have a tiny little bit of density. Even my highest brightness highlight, I have a tiny little bit of density. And I do not have a pure black. Why would I want a black? Pure black doesn't exist. Nothing is that dark, okay? When Richard Bender does his HDR photography, there is detail on the deepest shadows, okay? You really do not need to have a pure 000 black in your images, nor do you need to have it reproduced on print, unless you're doing a score around your image, which I do. Yes, I want that to be blacker than anything on my print, anything on my image. Okay, I want that border. That border is black, 000. I don't want anything on my complete image to be 000. Okay, that's just me. You do whatever you wish, and of course, if that is what you're looking for, then fine. Buy a printer that gives you a deeper Dmax. Deeper than what? You know what I mean? Can I get deeper than pouring black ink on my paper? I don't think you can. So I don't know. I haven't seen any visually seen any prints from it 1100 yet. So I did, however, manage to partially install the driver for my. I just did it. I know I could have downloaded the profiles easily from Red River or whatever, but I wanted to install Epson paper profiles. So I went to for the 1100. So I went through the process of installing the driver, and then I stopped it. At the moment it told me to connect my printer, I stopped it. Then I went to my temporary folder, found the opened up, extracted software data, and I found the ICC profiles, copied them, and saved them. So I have Pro 1000 and 1100 profiles for all my Canon papers. And of course, I could do that the same from Red River if I want to. But I did see a sort of trying to over enhance my darker areas. And again, it's just a matter. I was using, of course, the same ink set, so the profile was just trying to reproduce what the 1100 would have reproduced with its own inks, not my inks. So it was a test, but it wasn't an absolute perfect test. But it showed differences, and they were minimal. And again, it's not groundbreaking or over the top. Oh my God! Of course, throw away my 41000 and begin using the 1100. Yeah, both are excellent printers. Don't get me wrong. The 1100, absolutely great, great printer. But if you already own the other one, really, it's not going to be that much of a improvement. If you never own one, then yes, it's going to, blow your mind. It's so awesome. It is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's the point? Why would I on purpose choose a setting that might not give me as high a quality or noise free or more accurate, whatever you want to call it? Um, I'm going to talk to him about that. He'll watch this later. So, yeah, the target is the same that was in the just on the 116. Let me make sure that I didn't get a new target in my pictures folder. That's where they would be installed. So this one here was installed 11/23/2025. This is even older. It has to have the little black to white row of patches underneath. Yeah. I think the instructions say that. Is the number 41 dot tiff. Let me make sure it is identical, the same. Yeah, number 41 dash. Yeah, it is. So that is the new one. You have to use that one. You have to use the new one with any of the updated versions. I find Harold Davies now, he has gone through Pro 1000 as well as currently using an 1100, and I think you have a 2100 as well. Um, he says deeper blacks look at the. I find the enhanced deeper black look of the Pro 1100 less accurate than our Pro 1000 was, so I am less satisfied with the change. And that came from a user. Okay, and this guy prints professionally for his other two people group, his partners that he works with, for selling prints online. By the way, they're going to visit me or visit the area. I will be here to hang out with them in May, so I should be reporting on that. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a live stream together from the hotel. That would be good. I have a friend that has a banding issue with the Canon Pro 1100. Yes, that was actually a pretty well-known problem. Um, People had to. Mike, Harold, what was your issue? What was your issue that you had to have it replaced a couple of times? Yeah, made him just or jump through hoops and still occurring. Yeah, it's they're acting like it doesn't exist. Somebody suggested that because there were a group of people that never had any issues, and then there was a group of people that had issues. So someone suggested that those people who had issues, their printers came from a single lot in a region of the country, a single distribution center, maybe in a certain region of the country, and so everyone who bought those batches from them, from those batches, had the issues. But it's weird that you would have a banding issue like that when nothing else is wrong. Your head alignment passed, your nozzle check is perfect. You should have zero banding issues. No, if that was that simple, all these people would have been able to solve their problems. Harold says, Pro 1100, if I want the last few percent of my shadows crunch, I'll do that in edit. I don't need it decided for me. It is, however, an amazing printer. Harold, what was the, yeah, here it is right here. Our constant error was called 5C14, which caused never ending cleanings, 20 minutes until I shut it down. We never saw banding. Okay, so you had that, the 5C14. That was another issue that people were having, and it was almost regional. And the banding again also, because other people had absolutely zero problems. They were, doing this to their printer. It was so good. So, okay, let's go ahead and close the Print Prism software. And we're going ahead and open up QImage. I haven't seen a new update for QImage for quite a while. What else could they possibly do to it? So it's really interesting. Okay, so let's hop on over there. And what do I have here? Let's go ahead and jump over to the P800. And here I have my 17 by 30, but I'm going to go ahead and change that just for fun here. We're going to do like a 10 by 17. And all you have to do is just add it, and boom, there it is. See? And I'm going to add 2 to 3. Yeah, that'll be perfect. And let me first load I need to go into pictures folder. And I'm going to do some test images. I'm going to load this one. I want a black and white one. I want this torture one and this one. Okay, now I'm going to load some regular photographs. I'll do a few AIs. And then, of course, I'll do real photographs. Do some Halloween stuff here. Make sure I'm not repeating myself. Let's see what else. Okay, this one here. And then we'll do some of these. I think we can get one more row after this one. Get one more in there. I don't know why I flipped them. They should not have to do that. Oh, I see. Because the other ones are being cropped. All right. We'll go back. And I think I can add, let me see what else I got here. Some of these. That's good. Let me see if I can select all. And I'm just going to crop everything. That way it'll fit more like that. That way now I can actually add a few more. We'll just crop them. All I want to do is check to see what kind of rendition we're getting here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so here we go. That's what we have. And I'll go to printer and settings. We're going to use, this is what I made the profile with, P800. And we're not going to let the printer manage color. We're going to choose the one we just created now. And I just quickly look at the very bottom here. And there it is. Polar luster, open. And this is going to take a long time to load because that's just the way it is. But I'm interested in seeing how these are going to turn out here. So we'll just quickly send that. And by the way, I have the feed as raw on the P800. All right, so that's going to load. Let me show you my latest. So remember I think this was my last sheet of satin canvas from Breathing Colors. And I made some of those little portraits, Victorian era portraits. I love this one here. I'm going to be printing some more, but I'm going to be using one of my other canvas paper, canvas sheets from Breathing Color. I love this one here. And I decided on several ways of mounting this, doing the final product here. So hopefully, comparing some of the other prices that I plan to hopefully charge for some of this art, I decided that these should go for like $40. This is a real stretcher. This is real canvas. The other stuff that I was doing on the linen paper from Strathmore is just paper. It looks like canvas, but when you do this, it would not. I could cheat, but the back was not going to look like cloth. Okay. And this is actual canvas. This is called Victorian Sisters, JFR 2026. And those little thingamajigs here, that's what expands the stretcher. When you attach canvas onto a stretcher with tacks, then you flip it over to the other side and you do the other side and then the fourth side, the third side and the fourth side, and then you trim off the corners and you very, very neatly fold and again more tacks. You then stretch it by hammering these little wedges. Okay. So then the frame is mahogany. It has been molded. Oh, you can't see this. Let me see if I can. It has been molded, and on the molded edge, I applied gold leaf. Okay, and then it has a brass um, tag right there. What would you call that? A brass, you know what I mean, right there. And then I apply varnish over it. Several very light coats. Is diluted, and it's a semi-gloss varnish. It's Damar. It's a real artist varnish. I don't know if today they still use that, but when I was making oil paintings, I used Damar varnish on it, and that's it. Okay. So let's see. We are only at 43% at this point. So everything starts off like this, and it ends up like this. So let me. Oh, and by the way, crazy. Even though you cannot see it, I actually wrapped the canvas around the edges of this frame, this stretcher. Crazy, I know. And then I put paper around the joints. They do that. A really high-end framing company will do that for you if you're willing to pay for it. So the other ones I thought, well, that's going a little bit too far. The wrapping the canvas around it really is unnecessary. It's going to be completely covered and you're gluing that in place. Really, in real life, you're going to glue it in place, a miniature, not just use tiny microscopic tacks and real wedges. No, you can't. So this one here, I left a little bit of a margin that I could possibly wrap around a stretcher, but I decided not to. So the next two, I just simply trimmed the prints to their edge, made a stretcher to fit it perfectly, and produced this. Instead of having the double wedge, I used the single wedge system, which is just a 45-degree angle wedge, and you put it in there, and when you push it in, it spreads the joint. The joints are not glued on a real stretcher, as you well know. So this is, again, a mahogany frame. And gold. And then the back. I have to add a name, so I need to go back to my image and see if there was an actual name to this painting that I found the image from. Okay, so what they have done is they have gone to different museums and such and found works of art, photographed them, and they make the images available. And I'm so grateful for that. I also downloaded some landscapes. I'm going to be printing those today, and I created a few of my own on AI in Photoshop. We're going to be printing those as well. I may have to go ahead and just basically just print them on a Strathmore paper. This one needs my initials, and there she is. And you can see the unevenness of the canvas. That's what happens, and that's what gives it that look. This is going to be a lot different than, even though the Strathmore stuff looks like it really is not. It's not a real canvas, in other words. So so far I have only three made. This takes about 4 full hours of work per sample, per unit. So I have another 12 hours worth here and a lot more. So I'm thinking, as my wife asked me the other day, you have stuff that's a little bit too modern. So maybe I will go through those metal prints and remove a lot of them. I'm going to have to really probably move toward this type of presentation. I have, what is today? So I have March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, I have 7 months to go. So maybe what I'll have to do is just concentrate on this style, and this should go. It'll make a lot more moolah, a lot more revenue. And since Nathan is turning 14, I'm going to hire him officially, and I'm going to write up a little contract. I'm going to hire him to be my cashier. I'm going to have to get some sort of device for credit cards, that sort of thing. And then I'm going to, now it's going to finally print. So, and he'll take care of the financial side. He's very good at math. It should be easy. I'll have to take cash along with me to make sure that I have enough for change. Um, Somehow, I don't well, no, I'm not going to get into the tax side of things, but that's being taken care of internally by the company that runs this show. So looking forward to it. I am still going to have, I'm going to make a room. It's going to be an artist studio where I will have several easels, a work table, and paintings halfway done, just to give people the impression of what they can do with this type of miniature art. Um, since the majority of the rooms that are created are more period, I think, like my wife suggested, I'm going to start calling some of the more super modern looking stuff. But I'm still going to include a little bit of it just in case. Just in case. All right. So that's beginning to print. It's going to take probably, and I want to show you. There you go. See that? I am full, completely full. At some point, I'm going to have to replace my maintenance cartridge. But the way to do that is you have another one, and you can very easily, those P800, they're the same like as the 3800, 3880. You just pry the top off, remove the insides, pack it with whatever absorbent material you want, and then put the lid back on it. You're going to reset that one, and then you have another one that you also reset. What you do at that point is the one that you just repacked, that's the one you're going to be putting in eventually. Here's the way to trick the printer. You're going to put the second one, your spare one. It has a different ID code. The printer will read that code and it will record it. And you know what it did with the previous one? Unlike the cartridge chip codes, which they never get erased, it erases the previous one. So now I have the one I just repacked. I reset the chip, put it back in. The printer looks at it, reads its code, and says, "Oh, welcome," because the code got erased by the other one. So you're just constantly changing back and forth between. All you need is two. You don't even need to repack the other one. Just reset one, put the other one in. It'll erase that previous code. It will insert the new code, take it out again, and put the one you just reset, and it reads it as a new, different cartridge. It's wonderful. Really, really an easy way to do this. So pretty soon it'll need a replacement. I think it's going to warm me. I thought it was like 80% right now. So, well, Harold, you're going to be able to see these in person when you guys come. I'm gonna show you the whole shebang. Okay. I'm thinking when you guys plan to go to the Smithsonian, you're on your own. You're gonna do that. I'm gonna stay out of it. I want to take you guys to Gettysburg and to Harper's Ferry. You will love. Click, click, click. Yeah, the Smithsonian is an absolute must-do visit. I understand that, but yeah, for the other two trips, I'm gonna be with you guys. So, and of course, I want to visit you down in the hotel as long as there's parking for me. So, and I'll bring all my stuff with me, and you guys can marvel or wonder, what are you doing? No, I think you'll like it. All right. Yeah, each calibration replaces the last one. So multiple alignments are not mathematically additive and provide no advantage. Yeah, that's for sure. So, but to be able to run a proper head alignment, you better have it perfectly 100% also check. What did Photon Icon suggest? Hang on. Yeah, you can do the manual one. Yeah, you need a really good magnifying glass, and you print it on glossy paper. Get some good glossy paper and print it. That way you see everything you're looking for. Okay, this is done printing. I was just announced, so I'm going to go ahead. What you do next on the P800 is print cut, press cut on the screen. It will print the cut line. It will advance the paper forward. I cut it with a scissors, and then I retract, and it goes back to the starting position. Be right back. And as expected, since these are the last few feet of paper on that roll, that paper is super curly. So, so I'm looking at this. This is one of the most important thing in the whole collage. This, and it looks really neutral for me, even though I just have a conglomeration of different. And since I cropped everything is getting slightly cropped. No worries. I know what I'm looking for. This is pretty good. This is very neutral. Standard image looks good to me. Good Lord, man. Oh my goodness. I folks, I can see. Think I'm seeing number 2 and number 4. So there's no crushing. This is another standard image that used to be used. I think um, Keith Cooper loves this one. Keith Cooper works for he's part of the group that creates these images, these print images. Now this one here is meant as a torture, and it got cropped. But basically, it will show you if you see any banding in those transitions, then you have an issue. Same thing here. So you're looking for banding. This one right here, sorry. I just didn't want to waste a lot of paper. That's why I printed it in this manner. Yeah, I can see ink density right here. The last one just before white. It's hard to see. Just take my word for it. Yeah. Transitions are fairly smooth. There's a little bit of a band right here, but this is like super torture. Okay. Most printers will not pass this test. Okay. And everything else looks, gosh, fantastic. I'll be able to print that little 30 by 17 kitty cat picture. Excellent. All because of that profile. Trust me, I was not getting this kind of result in the past. Absolutely not. I'm gonna counter curl this maybe. Let me see if I can do it without crinkling it. And there you go. That's much better. So again, yeah, you can do this on QImage easily. Just load those images, and if you got a batch of them and you want to find out which one of those you would love to see on paper, when you see that on the screen, you will. It's not really the same thing. You need to see it on paper. So just run something like this with a multitude of images on it. It'll be like a contact sheet, like the days of film in the darkroom, and you'll be able to then go, okay, I don't like that one. This one is better than that one. I'll print this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Boom. Go back and then choose those particular images. Very good. Cool. Excellent. All righty. What else do we have to do here? Let me see. It's 1:38. So, oh, I better save my battery. So, what do you guys think? I mean, you saw me do it. Of course, I printed the chart like a couple of days ago, actually. I was waiting for today, and then lo and behold, Mike comes up with this update. So, I had to begin again, all over again, and then do the actual scan with the new updated print prism. I think that's what he suggested to do. Um, so anyway, that's where we are at this point. Now, you guys have heard me talk about San Gabriel Mountains in Texas. Red River, originally, one of their original burrito papers was called San Gabriel. And San Gabriel was mwah, muchísimo beautiful. Okay. Um, and it just had that amazing look and quality, texture. Just I don't know what it is, unexplainable. You cannot explain the why I love this so much, or everyone else loved it. All of a sudden, I don't know what happened. The paper mill that produced it stopped producing it. What happened? So they quickly scrambled and they tried to make San Gabriel 2.0. Well, immediately people started complaining. It starts with a B. BIT, you know what I mean, as a verb, itching. Okay. I can't say that. Um, and complaining about it not being the same. Well, in fact, it wasn't. It really wasn't the same. So I gave up on it. I just did not order anymore. I didn't want to use the new one because I love the first one so much. Let me show you what I found. And then well, you wait. Okay, I'll be right back. I found this advertised on the Red River site several years ago. I just opened the box the other day. It said it was San Gabriel 1.0, 17 by, I think it's like 30 feet. It's pretty nice and thick paper. You know why it was only $60? Because it was rolled up backwards. Instead of having the printable surface on the outside, it's on the inside. I could conceivably load it in this orientation and just feed it. The problem is roll paper always has that curl pretty much built in. And so it could get caught inside. Now, the other option is to get an empty core and very carefully roll it back again by hand. Lay this on your bed or something and get the other core, get the edges taped down securely and rewind it. In other words, I need to wind it in this orientation. And then let it sit. I'll tape it up again and let it sit for a number of weeks until it sort of becomes acclimated to the correct curvature. But this is it right here. This no longer exists. This is, for me, the best paper I have ever used right here. It's amazing, just truly amazing. So this week, I hope to be able to handle that. Once I finish the roll that I have there now, I was going to load another roll of the same paper for anyone who needs a poster or whatever. That one's actually 50 feet. So, and I will be able to then continue using that or get this loaded into the empty roll, the correct orientation, let it acclimate for 2, 3 weeks, a month, whatever. And then once I'm pretty sure it will be recurled the proper way so that it does not get caught inside. Although realistically, it may. I mean, I could just see horrors happening internally if it gets caught somehow, especially after it gets past the platen and where the printhead prints. So I just don't want to take any chances about that. So that's why I want to go ahead and recurl it, the proper orientation, and then I'm gonna wrap a piece of 11 by 17 paper around it. I have some regular plain paper and tape it up. In other words, that will put some pressure on it and just let it sit. Let it sit for a while, and then we'll be able to see these edges here. This shows how much curl is on there. I hope to get it to the same condition this looks now, but reversed. Okay. And I'll tell you the God honest truth, no one has this paper anymore. So, and on the Pro one, oh my gosh, I cut some pieces of another wrongly wrapped. Yeah. And I don't know whether that's the reason they I don't know. All of a sudden they just didn't have it anymore. And they came up with a new version. Now there's some new burrito papers. There's some Palo Duro. Palo Duro is very good as well. But no, San Gabriel just took the cake. Okay. It really did. Oh, no, actually those are okay, like those are Legos. That's my wife's stuff, and she's got a lot upstairs as well. She has to entertain herself with puzzles. So I buy her a ton of puzzle magazines. She's got to be penny press, only penny press, and Legos. She used to do Legos, and that kept her head, straight. She had an issue with a particular drug she got put on, which almost made her go crazy. And we found out later that there's a possibility of this and this happening when you take this drug. Thanks for not telling us. But yeah, I used to have to drive her, go on a couple of hours drive and just look at countryside, and she would then calm down. But I'm glad that she does it. Of course, I'm going to buy her every copy of these brands of puzzles. She only likes one particular brand. Um, yeah, she used to do needlepoint and she had to quit. But anyway, regardless, those are not old scales. Those are Legos. Now underneath it's a uh, Union Pacific Big Boy HO. That's the one with the 8 wheels. I don't want to bring it over here because I might drop it. Do I dare? Nah, I won't. I'll leave it there. I'll take a picture of it someday and show you guys. I used to do that as well, model railroading. And I brought up Nathan loving trains and loving construction equipment and things like that. I used to take him out when he was at 1 year old in the Germantown house where they live at, Maryland. If you're from Maryland, you know where Germantown is, north of Rockville, north of Gaithersburg. So, um, and we just watch construction equipment. They were building new homes in their development, and we just sit there on top of a mountain of dirt and watch. Or I would take him out to the road 355 and watch trucks go by and cars go by, and he would just love it. And that's what got his interest in fire trucks. And of course, we go to the county fair, and he would talk with the firefighters, and yeah, uh, enough memories. Right now he's 14. He's a big man now. Grandpa, I'm taller than you. Yes, you are, my boy. Yes, you are. All right. Harold Davies says, congrats on the San Gabriel V1 roll. I reverse rolled some burrito, but can't do it in the winter with our low humidity. So yeah, that's what I'm waiting now for spring to hit. So I'm just going to roll it and leave it until it becomes more usable. In other words, I tried cutting some of the previous one that I had, um, and it didn't really work. I created a little device for counter curling the paper, and it sort of worked, but not really that well. Just today, I laid out a new HO track. Excellent. HS. Yes. I have a ton of that stuff in my storeroom. I don't know what to do with it anymore. There are no more shops that you can really go to like that are absolutely dedicated to model trains. There was one right across the street from us on the corner next to my gas station, and they closed. They close up shop. There's a club that joins meets in Kensington every September, but that's just or late August, and that's pretty good. Nathan loved it. Yeah, he still does. Took my son Nathan, and my wife, and myself. Then we go to the village. We have a Kensington is really a village. We eat lunch there and had a great time. And I asked him, I said, So Nathan, is this gonna, is this becoming something too boyish? And he looked at me like, I'm always gonna come to this. Okay, keeps me going. All right, so that's it. We tested that profile. It worked beautifully. Where did I put it at? Right here. What else should we do? Let's take a look at my list. Let's make some mini canvas. So that we will need the 8550. So now I have the layout already set. Now, Harold, you said you did the same thing. Is that because you found a roll of material of media that was rolled backwards? And if so, from where? I'm constantly looking at Rivers, like their sales, the misfits, if you will. But I haven't found anything that I would consider ordering yet. Now, I do not have, what is this? Is this satin? So I got one more satin. We're going to use that profile that I made. Let me counter the edges here. I love satin because it's already shiny. They call it canvas that you don't have to varnish, basically. Most paintings always were varnished, and it protected them against UV and other issues. So they were always covered with a coat of varnish. Okay, so, oh, I'm sorry, I did not show you what I just did. Okay, so here it is. Velvet fine art paper, because we don't have a choice for canvas. So this will trigger both blacks. This is what we use to create the profile. I'm going to go look for it now. It should be one of the latest ones that we made. So here it is right here. By the way, there is a soft proofing in Qimage. The only issue is that you cannot just quickly go back and forth between, soft proofed and no soft proofing. So let me just take a quick look at it. It's got to look at all the images and then load them. And if they look reasonably good, I'll go ahead and print them. I'm going to reposition some of these. Again, they are not cropped, so the full image. I just want to look at them, make sure that they look reasonably good. They've all been adjusted for maximum dark and maximum white or highlight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to go back to the normal viewing conditions. I may have to, I want to reposition them so it's easier for me to cut them on my trimmer. Upstairs. That is my tile cutter, in other words. It's the only thing that will cut this well enough for me to be able to get a good accurate cut. My rotary cutter cannot cut this canvas. It fails miserably. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to give this one a little bit more room down here. Give this one a little bit more room. I just need a little bit of room for me to be able to perform the cut. Just need like 1/8 of an inch. That'll be plenty. That way I can just use scissors and just do a raw cut, and then each one of the images or the prints I can then very carefully cut off. This, I just need to move it down a tiny bit, like right there. And then this one. That's good enough. And I already have this one, so I don't need to print that one. Move it over here. I got a lot more room. That's all I need. Boom, 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 boom. And that's it. So this will be a new set. I'll have 3 of these. I'll have 3 of these and 3 of these. And then one, I did this one on the paper, the so-called linen paper. So I'm going to try it on the actual canvas, see how much different it turns out, or better. I'm just going to move all of these over a little bit. Then I'll move this stack over. Then I can bring these inward a little bit. Like that, and then this one out. I just want to have enough space between them to just trim them off with a pair of scissors. And that's it. Double check everything. Fine art paper, velvet fine art, VFA, and the canvas satin profile I made, and print. We'll let that baby print. And then I'm going to go ahead and load. I'm going to show you some new ones that I made last night. That has to load first. Let me take a quick look. Oh, I can't even look at that right now. Let me see. Here we go. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to show you the Victorian mini paintings that I made. And we're going to do it on whatever sheet I have left. I'm going to use the same profile. It cannot be that different. The only thing they change is the level of gloss, and I hope it's compatible with this. There's a little bit that's another type that is a little bit glossier than the one I just I'm using right now. But yeah, so once that loads, it goes ding dong and it begins to print. I'll be able to load the other ones and show you what I've been doing. So I need to double check to see what it is that we have here. So this is the next series will be a so-called gloss. So it will be canvas gloss. It looks a little bit glossier than the satin. And then I have some matte stuff. And the matte is called Live. Oh, I have another gloss here. Oh, good. So I have, crystalline gloss. Is that the one that did not work? Yeah, that's the one that did not work. I'm going to do this on my Pro 1000. When I looked at the printers that you can do this with, it did not show the 8500. It showed only pigment printers. So that is what we're going to have to use then. Okay, so here we have Chromata White. And I mean, how different is it from this one? This one seems to be a lot thinner. No, this is just as thin. And this is also Chromata White. Okay, so 2 Chromata White. And then we have 1 sheet of gloss, 2 sheets of gloss, and the live, which is about a middle gloss. And you can see the difference in the threads. You can see how you see that difference in color. Those are the actual threads being slightly different shade of color. It's amazing. Then of course they put the white coating on it. And then this is the one that came out horrible. What's the crystalline? I still have it here. No, Silverado. Oh, this is the one. Silverado was the one that's... So crystalline should work. So that's good. That means that I have, in this stack right here, I have quite a bit of material to create some more artwork. So now that's printing. That's good. So let it print. We're going to jump over to QImage while that is printing. So, and I don't need this anymore. So we'll go ahead and close it. So I believe Victorian portraits. No, that's not where I put it. Where did I put that? I think I already have it saved. Smart guy. I saved it. I created something. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. No. Here's the cat, though. Let me show you the cat. So I open it as a job. It's going to delete everything. And there's the cat. So I remove the background. And this is what they want. That's going to go to the P800. And I'll do that after we get off here. So I am going to have to... Oh, I know where I put it. Let me think. Where did I put that? I think it was in Joe's from the cloud. And we'll have to go back. Let's just set this up from scratch. So go to the 8550. And I'm just going to use my wireless version. And of course, now the kitty is going to be resized. We're going to remove the kitty. We'll go back to Velvet Fine Art. Notice it jumped back into the regular layout. And then we're going to search. Here they are. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I think I had a few more here. Oh, that girl. Yeah, we'll do. Now let's see if I have anything else. I thought I had a couple more extras. Here it is. 1, 2, and 3. And nothing is cropped. Okay. They're going to be specific sizes. Okay, I'll include the girl. 1, 2. Can I fit one more? This does the fitting by itself. Let me see what happens. No. So it only let me do that. So that's what we will print next. So in order to make my life easier, I'm going to go ahead and move this over and down a little bit. There you go. Move this one down. Move this one down and in. These 3 can go down. I meant the 3, but I just want to have enough scissors space for me to hand cut and then very accurately trim them. I'm just going to have to leave these alone. Okay, done. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, that's printing beautifully. Wow. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm just going to concentrate on the fine art stuff. This is much thicker. This one here It's a much thicker crystalline gloss. Yeah, much thicker canvas. I want something flexible. Let me see what the gloss looks like. I'm going to put the matte stuff at the bottom. This is the gloss. Crystalline gloss and gloss. So we'll go like this. We will use gloss. I think that's going to print very close. What I need to do, and I'll just walk through this one by one here. Yeah, this looks fantastic. I cannot complain. Oh yeah, this is going to be beautiful. And I generated these with AI. This one is not generated. This one I actually made. Um, it's an actual painting that I have and I photographed it. So what I need to do is remove this little label here. Hopefully without any damage taking place. Like so. Perfect. So we'll let this rest right here. I'm going to go and adjust the sharpness, the overall exposure, meaning 0.5 from black, 0.5 from white. So I'm just going to go ahead. I think I got to do I have to do each one? Let me see if I already did it. Yes, I already did it. So luckily, these are all already ready to be printed. So let's just go ahead and do so. Same settings. Everything is the same. Breathing color, canvas satin. Just use the same profile. No biggie. This is really, I'm not trying to do art reproduction for a book. I'm creating mini versions, and that's the goal here. So even if it's slightly off, which I don't think it will, the only difference is the gloss. I don't have to worry about, making another profile. In other words, I can just live with that one. Okay, so after this is going to be it, folks, for today. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you would like to discuss on upcoming live streams. Is there a subject you would love me to cover fully? Like devote a couple of hours on it, do demonstrations? Just let me know. I mean, this is it. Take your chance right now and let me know on the chat. I would be more than happy to do so. It's getting to the point where there's not much more to talk about, to be honest. If things are going perfectly, you're more than likely don't have much to like. For me, whenever I see my group here of 28, it used to be 30 a few minutes ago, and they're all just watching me and listening to me. Everything must be going perfectly well with you guys, because I'm expecting questions from you. So let me know what you want to talk about. Let me know what you want me to learn. Okay, I would love to learn new stuff as well. If you are involved in some sort of art or project related to sort of printing and digital arts, that sort of thing, and you want to come on, let me know. I would love to have you as a guest, and I would just kick back and you teach me something. I need to learn new things. I'm the type of person, I'm sure you have gathered this by now, I didn't know anything. about creating. Well, that's so bright. Let me cut that off. About creating little hideous looking scorpions, fully detailed. Okay, using 3D printing, resin printing. Here's Goofy, perfectly detailed. I didn't know anything about this, and I learned it in a matter of like 2 months. Got to the point where it got boring. I have 300 pieces of art in my other room that I just have on my shelf. So remember, I used to have ink bottles. If you look at my old videos, I used to have ink bottles back there. Now they're covered with 3D printed models. So at this point, other than the fact that I have a new large capacity 3D resin coated printer, I haven't even set it up. Um, 3D printers, just like with printers, also not as a little bit faster than printers. The technology just, and so every 3-4 months there's a printer that now passes the one you already own, and so you feel like you need to buy new ones to be able to keep up. The technology is increasing so quickly. So for me to be able to create a piece of art like this, how the heck did you think I made this? Layer by layer. But then some of those layers must have been floating. How? And this is the stuff that I had to learn. I had to learn the technology. I had to learn the setup. I had to learn everything so that I wouldn't have failure after failure after failure. And that's what happens. And that's why a lot of people quit. They do. And so I need to learn something new. Then I will dive headfirst into it and master it as much as I can. And so I have here from Sir Mighty Mouse. Here he is. And he's the one that provided me with a P200. I am that close. Let me show you. I'm coming through. Trying to get past here. I have right there on the floor. You see that? A brand new Pro 100. I have another one still waiting in the box. So this is going to become what I will test against the Pro 200. That's a hole in my ceiling, by the way. I had to replace a couple of the pipes myself, but I have to hire a wall, you know what I mean, plaster thing to replace that. But anyway, I have it right there. I have another one, which means I'm going to be doing the actual comparison between the Pro 200 and the Pro 100. and it'll be with OEM. No, not with OEM. It will be with Precision Colors inks, both printers. So I will initiate this one with Precision Colors inks, and then I will compare it to the Pro 200 with Precision Colors inks. And so that will give you an idea, because this is what's left. The Pro 100 sold by the thousands, if not tens of thousands. That were giving them away with camera purchases. You get a free printer. That thing weighs a ton. Okay, so that's coming. Again, because last week I felt crappy as hell. I didn't get really anything accomplished, but that's what's coming, and I will be diving into comparisons between the two, and we'll do several things. We'll do many different papers and that sort of thing. I'll do a lot of Pro 200 profiles, even though Precision Colors officially made profiles for that. Um, I'll make my own. Okay, I will be making my own. I really prefer to do that. So this came out really nice. Hang on. So cannot complain. Look at that. That will be make some really nice pieces of artwork. What I need to do now, the next thing I need to do is the lady that runs this, that basically owns it's an LLC for the show that she does once a year. Um, she hasn't been to the meetings twice, and I really feel uncomfortable mailing her the check, the $200 check, which I don't have a way to make checks, so I'll have to go to the bank and get a check made for her uh, company's name for the $200 fee for the table. So that's all I need to do next, and I'll get that done this week, hopefully. And if I have to drive it over to her house, I will do that. But I prefer to do that rather than mail it. Then it gets lost, and I don't want to deal with that. So, but once I do that, then I am booked, and I'll be ready to then really look forward to this, and we'll see. I used to do this all the time, folks. My furniture that you've seen, I used to sell all the way from Boston all the way down to Florida, okay, to Miami almost, and did pretty well. I was probably number one at that time, highly sought after. I couldn't keep up, in other words, and that once I reached that goal, I just sort of I get almost not depressed, but I lose my interest. It's no longer a challenge. So, yeah. And I was, because like I did with the frames, if I show you the original so-called stretcher, it had lap joints, okay, and through joints. How did I do those? Yeah. So that type of thing. And now once it's on a frame, you really don't see it. So what's the point? You know what I mean? So I that's how all the furniture that I have shown you was. I built it to the original plans. So a lot of the internal components and joinery was not really necessary, especially on a little model. You don't really have to go that far, but I did. I went through the exact plans and built it exactly like the original was built. And that's what got me to that level. I made it to the biggest show ever in New York in Tower Number One. Okay, that was an annual show. People from all over the world would come to that, and I made it to that level. And not everybody gets to be asked, "Would you like to participate as a seller?" Not everybody gets that. So, and I managed it. So, hey, then my site started going a little bit, and I just could not keep up anymore with the demand. So I sort of quit. I quit the business, if you will, and then discover other things. I started getting involved in other things. So anyway, so that is it. I hope you guys enjoy this. And again, I'm going to leave this out and I'm going to throw away. I'm going to have to throw away your box because I don't have room for all of these boxes. Um, uh, so, and then I'll get this set up, and it'll be placed here. Your 200 is in the back room, on top of my semi-working, maybe not even working anymore, Pro One, not the one I have working. That one works. So yeah, you can use. Yeah, I may do that. She says that Zell or Zelly, uh, she's doing that. So I, what is that? Some app on your phone? Is that what you do? Um, I don't know anything about this sort of thing. So yeah, that's actually listed on the contract. Either check or that. Yeah. So, but hopefully I'll see her this month at the meeting, this coming month. If not, then I will go ahead and go through that and pay her that way. So I would have to create an account, right? For me, it's like PayPal, similar to that, or I link a bank card to that. Yeah. Okay, though. So let's go ahead for me and set up my thank you. And the next slideshow. And I don't know what Mike Cheney is going to do next. I'm telling you this. He is blowing my mind with what else could we do? Let me leave you guys with this question. What else? And he will watch this. I know he's going to watch this. What else would you like to see in Print Prism? And while I get this set up, you guys let me know. You guys tell me that. Answer that for me. What else would you like to see in Print Prism? Through my bank? So I have Truist. What do I do? Go to truist.com and set it up that way. I mean, I could even pay her cash. It doesn't really matter once I see her face to face. She's the promoter. She's the show promoter and owns the owns the company. Basically, you have to set up a company when you do shows like that. Anyway, so ask me what else would you love to see in Print Prism? For me, it would be just get rid of the choice of scans. Leave it at maximum 3 scans, and that's it. Don't give me the opportunity to choose from 1, 2, and 3. Just force me to do the triple scan and just have it do it one after the other. What else would you like to see? What else would make the way that you saw me use it? And those of you who have updated, I'm quite sure you've already used it. What would you like to see? For Richard Bender, it was the ability to not have to manually do scan after scan, going back to scan again and then hit scan. And Mike Cheney said that he could not do that, and yet he did it. Somehow he found a way. So what would you like to see done? Is what I am asking. So we have a little bit of time. It's 2:25. We usually go 2.5 hours. So let me know what you would like to see in Print Prism. Mike will be watching this later on today, and he can then possibly reply to me or put it on Facebook if you would like. What would you like to see? Come on, anything? Come on. I know you guys want to see something. To me, it would be to tweak the accuracy of the of the resulting profile. In other words, profiles, if you view them, and I don't know whether this is still available, but if I was to make a profile in my i1 Pro Studio, i1 Pro um, 2, and do it through there to X-Rise on software, at the end, it shows me the 3D view of the profile. And it's a 3D thing, it's a shape. And it has white, black, red, green, blue, yellow, magenta, cyan. And it has a capacity, a space. And it allows you to then load a secondary profile, one that you have made, maybe some other paper or whatever, and it will superimpose it. And the parts that are protruding beyond, when you load that second one, if anything protrudes beyond the first one, that means more gamut. If it's inside, that means less gamut. So that would be, to me, a profile that has a larger bubble, if you will, to me means a larger gamut. It will be able to reproduce some colors that maybe Photoshop's gamut warning shows as being gray, especially like the ones on that standard image that are all out of gamut. Anything? Okay, I'll have to learn more about that. Thanks, man. I'll definitely look into it tonight. No, I did not. I did not today, but I will next time. One question I have: do you need to shut down every time after you make a profile, or can you simply go into the next profile? I think you can, although I've been shutting down, but I don't think that's necessary. You know. All right. I think that's going to be it. And again, thank you so very much for hanging with me today. I'm going to go up and help my wife with something, and then I'm going to come down and work on my sister's passed away husband slideshow. I hope I can get something done nicely for her. All right. So, again, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Click that bell so you're notified anytime I upload something new. I've been doing that daily, 2 videos a day, one old live stream on Saturdays, and I moved it over to Saturdays evening, 7 Eastern time. That way it's more like in the evening, more time for you to watch it. And this goes back, I think I'm in 2021 at this point, moving forward. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Where is it at? Okay.